Hi, I'm Tony Buffum with Human Cloud, live in Dallas, Texas at SIA's Collaboration X conference. And I'm here with Reena Gupta with Wisdosity. So first, tell me about Wisdosity. We talked about it a little bit earlier, and it sounds like a really unique platform.
So, let me start with the name. And first of all,
Sure.
thank you for having me here.
Absolutely.
And super excited about coming back to the staffing industry. You will know why I use the word coming back. Back to your question. So, the term Wisdosity means Wisdom City. And the way I position this is like every institution, whether it is a company, whether it's a community, whether it's your family, they all have that institutional wisdom. And that institutional wisdom walks out the door, the more people are not accessible, whether they are
Sure.
busy while working or they leave the company and transition and they are stuck somewhere, and we want to learn from them. So, how can we make that collective institutional wisdom available for everyone to be able to access? Not what they want, but what they really need to do their job.
Yeah.
And that's what Wisdosity is doing. It's collecting and preserving the institutional wisdom, making it available as digital avatars of the company's experts or institutions' experts. So today we heard Barry, and Barry went and talked about the digital twin.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, you don't want your digital twin to deliver it live, but we want your digital twin to be able to answer what we really learned and say, Barry, what did you say about that? Right? So that's what we are building. And we want to ask him that question when we really need it.
Yeah.
That's the key. So learning and development by the people, to the people, at the moment we really need that wisdom is what Wisdosity is creating.
That's great. Well, I think for sure lots of people can appreciate it's hard to capture that wisdom,
Yes.
that internal knowledge within the companies, but maybe they do. But that's not enough because we're not going to go searching for that, like
Exactly.
you said, when we need it.
Yes.
So how does that work? How do you capture it and how do you make it available?
So, their wisdom, if you think about, people think about as knowledge that is explicit, which is written, documented. This is your SOPs, there's your training models, whatever it is. But what is really missing is what's here.
Yeah.
And what really makes the company and the decisions work is what's here. So how do you capture that? So to give an example, I have been in staffing industry, developed, ran a IT services company, then created a applicant tracking system, sold that, and I started a foundation called Mom Relaunch
Okay.
to help women who are on a career break to get back into the workforce. That's one of my really amazing thing that makes me fulfilled. But I realized that I'm saying the same thing 50-60% of the time. And how can I scale myself? How can I make them available? And there are days that I'm not in good mood. It's like, well, if not in good mood, doesn't mean that I can't share that what the person needs.
Yeah.
And that is the problem. Like, I'm not accessible. Maybe I'm not in the right mood. And then how can I make all those problems go away? What is that solution? So I created my own digital avatar. So I have been collecting all the sessions that I speak live, feeding it. And a real life example would be like, I was having a meeting with moms, and one of them said like, oh, what was that certificate I have to do for this career path? And I'm saying, oh, I forgot what was the name of the certificate. And another mom just quickly says, it's like, I've already asked your digital avatar. That's what you had said before. Now think of that power. Even I can forget what I,
Yeah.
right? So that's the wisdom that is in there. And people, if you look into the retention and learning, it really increases when you want to learn from the people you want to learn from. You are learning from them, right? So that is not possible. I always want to learn from Elon Musk and Bill Gates and everyone. Are they available for me? No.
Right.
But what can we do if we have my top company experts that are always available? So we capture their explicit and tacit knowledge and keep learning. It's never static. So I just turn on my recording. It's like, hey, I'm in this meeting. I don't know what I'm going to say, what people are, and most importantly, why I made that decision. And that's what and then I tell people like, go and ask like as if I'm not there, do you think it is working? So we are continuously testing and updating
sure.
and continuous. So it's not a static system. It's not a thing like that you can go back and say, oh, I'm done with my avatar. You are yourself learning, you are yourself growing, and how will your avatar learn and grow?
Oh, that's great. Well, so as you're training this, what are some challenges maybe that you hadn't anticipated, and what are some things that surprised you besides, hey, I could actually use this myself for myself?
So very interestingly, when I started talking about it was when people were not even used to ChatGPT.
Sure.
And it all started with, I wrote a book called Career Interrupted. And when I released that book, and I thought I'll go and do workshops and this and that, and I literally didn't want to do that. And this whole Visdosity as a company started because I didn't want to self-publish. I didn't want to go to publishers. I said, what to do? I was like, let's set up a company to publish a book. And then when I published the book, it's like, it's already there. Why do I have to say that? So my whole idea was like, what if my book talks to people? And that idea turned into this whole wisdom of, now I started thinking about how do I make that Q&A to flow and all those things. And then obviously this LLM changed the whole, we threw away all the architecture we built and then restarted again. So the challenge is not about how we capture. Challenge is about changing people behavior to know that there is someone to you they can go and ask. The biggest problem people have is they don't know how to ask. So even if we do the system, we don't know. It's like, oh, let me figure it out. Let me do this. But how do you change the behavior of people to go back and say, you're sharing something. Can you turn on your recording? Or can you just go back and create that this person is available as your clone, not your replacement? It's a very big difference. People think like, oh, if I dump everything in my brain, am I still valuable? Yes, because you free up your time to do other things.
Yeah.
And you're also helping company grow. You're not becoming a bottleneck because you're not accessible, right?
Oh, that's great.
I also envision that sometimes we will have our digital avatars go and do the work for us a little bit more than what just advising and questions, but that's for later. So the challenge is human behavior. The challenge is how do we cultivate the nature of asking questions?
Yeah.
Like, the people go back and say the most important thing for being successful is how you should ask. Okay, the nature and the art of asking is missing. And in the age of when everything is Google, that is also a problem. That human interaction, that human touch. Let me go and I really want to talk to, say, again, taking an example of Barry, because he's the SIA subject matter expert. Even if I hear him say something versus someone else, I'll have a different impact and I will remember more. Right? I don't know if you can relate to parents. I have 2 kids, but when someone else says something versus parents, they get to listen more, right? So that's kind of the analogy is there. So we want to have a human interface to the learning from the best minds.
Sure.
And that increases the productivity, because if you look at the data that we track is 19% of the time people just search for information on how to do the work. And that searching has to change. It has to be conversational. It has to be more personal. It has to be, I know you did great, but what would you suggest for my situation? How do I handle? Not the typical therapy part, but how do I solve this problem? This is where I'm stuck. What did you do? What my team leader did to solve this? What my sales exec did to close this account because I'm having that objective, not what my competitor did, not what my chat GPT said, right? So that's the key. That's the wisdom that we are after, and the tacit wisdom.
How do you imagine organizations identify who they should be putting through this program or this tool?
Yeah, so as I said, it's a startup. We are still going out and we're launching. We are still in beta, but the only way I go back and say is make it top down. So you go back and say, who are the people who are always sought after, right? Because that's what people are looking for. And of course, always do a survey of like, who do you want to talk to, right?
Yeah.
But what I always personally believe is you should make it available for everyone, because everyone has something to teach and something to learn. So if I'm here, even if I'm an intern, I can go back and create so that the next intern can come in and learn from me. So I do that in Mom Relaunch. Is like we become like the person who joined first becomes the buddy for the next one.
Sure.
And they keep rolling on there. So I think that everyone should have their avatar. How they can use it is important on how they are training it. So more and more is the human behavior. So if people are saying, oh, I'm putting my time and energy to build my own avatar, the experts have done it, let me go and ask them.
Yeah.
So that's how it should be.
So I like that you mentioned again, Mom Relaunch. Tell me a little bit more about that, what inspired you to start this foundation and what it does.
So my story goes is like in 2003 when I started my staffing company, I brought in my first employee as a stay-at-home mom. She was a good friend, and I said, "Why don't I just train you to do my job? You take some of my job." And she was just helping me on the side. And when she was ready, I brought her into the front of the client and say, "Reduce my work, let her do the work because she's anyway doing it." So that model stuck to my head is like if you nurture people before they are placed for the job, I think that brings the trust, that brings the credibility, and the companies don't have to think about whether this person is going to work or not. So we implemented that mom relaunch model. Of course, when I sold my company applicant tracking system I was talking to, I wanted to do back on this thing. So I created this foundation, and we worked with Salesforce and said, we know this industry, we will just nurture moms. And we do a lot in Salesforce still. Then
Yeah.
IBM came in as so IT focused because we want to have it remote, flexible, all those things are there. However, if you think about what is really missing right now when moms take a career break, the experience, the actual work experience, there are no lack of training that they can take, certifications that they
Sure.
can take, right? So that is what we focus on, the real work experience that no one gives, okay? And these are real projects. So everyone who are coming in, once they work on the real project, they get the confidence, they get the skills, they get the real experience. So we could say that we make them ready and relevant by providing them work experience, the confidence, and the community.
Oh, that's great. Well, is there a training component leading up to that? So you mentioned
Yeah.
there's no, there's no lack of training programs and certifications they can get, but are there things that you encourage them or point them to before they start getting the work experience?
Yes. So we call it as a 5-step process of seedling to mother tree journey.
Okay.
So the first step starts with the career discovery. We just have a virtual session where they come and talk about what they have. So we look for what that seed they come with. So that's how the seedling comes in.
Okay.
And we look into and then suggest them a career path. And if we are not in that industry, we say like, look, we can't help you. But if they are in there, we say this is the training path, this is the certification, and these are our partners that you can work with. And we don't do any training ourselves. We bring in training partners. Then we go to the clients and we go back and say, what are your back burner projects? What are some nonprofits work with us? So they give us the projects that are real projects.
Yeah.
And we never take any sample projects or capstone projects that you call, nothing like that. Real project, real clients. And we have what we call as the philosophy of try before you hire.
Yeah.
So while they're working, they get hired also. So we are so used to, it's like you buy something, you don't like, you return. And we go back and say, no, you can do the same thing, which is very different in the
Sure.
regular hiring. Cost of wrong hire is so high,
Yeah.
right? So we let them try them out and they say, yeah, they did good. And some of them get hired, some of them get to another project. It's a win-win situation for both of them. If they get hired, great. If they're not, then they say. So third step is the training, the work experience. The second is training. Third is work experience. And fourth is when we are making them ready for the mock interviews, the client's interaction,
great.
and all those things, how to write resume. And when they get launched in that fourth step, we request them to come back as a mother tree and help others.
Okay.
So that's
the fifth step.
Yeah, that's the 5-step process.
Yeah. That's great. Well, this of course makes me curious about your journey because we've touched on a bunch of different things. Talked about staffing, selling an ATS company, creating a new company that's totally in the world of the next generation of AI, and this passion project with this foundation. Give me a little bit more of your background so we can understand where all this comes from.
Sure. So for doing this, I may have to go back. Is like I grew up in India and in a family where girls were not allowed to have a career. And I go back and say, I learned from my mom what not to do, which is not have a career. Because, you look at the lives and say like, it's not only limited to house or nothing wrong with that. She's amazing, but I really wanted something different.
Yeah.
I was not allowed to do anything. There was like, do whenever and whatever your husband says after you get married. So I go back and say, my husband comes as my Prince Charming because his family was completely opposite. It's
Oh,
like,
really?
yeah. So what are you going to do when you come to US? And I said, do I have to do something? So I don't call myself as someone who was very ambitious or anything, but there was a desire that if things happen, I want to do it. I
Yeah.
was not a person who will fight against everyone. It's like I have to do those things. It's like go with the flow. And I think that nature stayed with me. And I was working here. I came started my job as a consultant. So that's my staffing industry step, like understanding how to work as a consultant. Then within 3 years, I was working as a chief technical architect for a company which was a startup
Okay.
and learning and development for K through 12. And that company got sold to McGraw-Hill, and they let off go my position. And that was the first thing is like, well, I don't want to have a career where people can decide
Yeah.
what I should do. So what should I do? And the CEO said, like, sometimes that event can be a turning point. And I took that as a advice, which I always go back and they called me back within a month, and they said, and I said, no, I'm not coming back as a full time. I will come as a consultant.
Okay.
And that when I started a consulting company or an independent consultant, and then I started hiring people, and the system that I architected, they wanted to grow. And I said, I have already developed this. So what if I train people before I hire and place it for you? So for a year, I just worked with McGraw-Hill for providing people and resources through my staffing company.
Oh, wow.
So it kind of started with the flow. If you look into it, and when I look at it, it's like everything was somehow unfolding. And I call myself as an accidental entrepreneur.
Yeah, right.
So then, as I was consulting, I was working with a client, and they said, we just bought Salesforce. We don't know what to do. And my technical brain kind of kicked in and said, look at this company. They sold. They don't know what to do. So there's something good about it. And we looked more and more, fell in love with that architecture. It was in 2005. And we decided to become a consulting company for them. And we were the first consulting company for Salesforce out of Tennessee. That's where we were
Wow, okay.
headquartered. Then I saw an opportunity to build an applicant tracking system on this platform when they opened that platform, because there is such a big architecture behind it.
Yeah.
And that became the company called Target Recruit, which I ran for almost 10 years, sold it in 2018. Then the people who were growing it, they sold it again to Bullhorn here in this year.
Bullhorn.
Yeah.
Back in July?
July. Yeah.
That's great.
So that is one path that went in. And after I sold, I started with Mom Relaunch as a
Yeah.
foundation. I was like all about like, it will be very interesting to bring women back to work, and adding to the fact, and it might sound a little bit rough statement here, but more and more I went out and talked to the clients, it felt like it's a lip service. So it's not that really people want to help, it's just like what looks good on the paper.
Yeah.
And that kind of helped me step back and say, what can we do? And that's why we designed the 5-step process. And I think that step process is more to build the trust for the people and clients. Is like, look, we're not coming, we're asking you to hire moms is not a charity. I'm giving you a well-trained resource that
Yeah.
can work with you. And then they started going. So we're still very small, but the process has been really nice.
Yeah.
So that works in there. And then I wrote a book called Career Interrupted, released it when everyone's career was interrupted in 2021. So 2020, basically, I started there. So that's how the title came in.
Yeah.
And we talk about 4 personas of how people get laid off and they get stuck in the career, they get relaunched, all those things in there. And then when I wrote the book, it's like studied the whole publishing industry like crazy, and realized that there are so many people who want to write books, they
Yeah.
want to share. Very few people really make it to big to if they are an author. So there's something to do in the industry, and that's where this whole Visdosity came into idea, is how can we make sure that it's not only people who can talk properly, who can tell their story are the ones who are full of wisdom, but there are people, and I've personally interviewed almost 40 plus people for my own book.
Wow. Yeah.
And almost, I would say 50% said, I wish I can write a book. I wish I had a resource to, but they don't have to. They don't have to. And now in the technology, anyone can go and become that source of inspiration to someone.
Oh, that's great.
And that's what we are after. That's
Well,
what we are after.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, there's a lot that's inspiring about your story. So many different exciting moments throughout your journey.
Yeah.
What's next? What's exciting that you're working on now, or that you see in the near future?
Yeah, so apart from all my professional things, I'll tell you a little bit about my personal stuff that I do as part of the community work. So I live in Pleasanton, California. I think I can proudly say that we have done some really good things to keep our community together, from our Indian community to become the mainstream, as well as being part of the, like, I'm a school board advisory, not school board, I would say the career technical advisory board for school. I'm on board for
Okay.
that. I want the students to be more future ready. So that's one of the things. I teach entrepreneurship to high school. High school students are my passion area because those 4 years are very critical.
Absolutely.
I also been in the Economic Vitality Council for our city, lot of things, and I'm doing something for my home state of Bihar for in India to bring that back into the global map. That is so things are going in, but the latest thing that is exciting is that we are now getting a team of people to create a services arm for implementing services and the tech stack and making the companies AI ready. So
Okay.
that is because we have a team of people who are now subject matter experts, they are tech experts, and because of the acquisition, not everybody was part of the acquisition.
Sure.
So we have that talent pool.
Yeah.
So one of the reasons I said I want to come back to this staffing is like, now let's see what's happening here and how can we make the companies adapt and adopt AI for all aspects of it so they're not left behind. So that's my exciting
Oh,
thing.
that's great. Well, I mean, every one of these interviews, we're talking about AI in some way, shape, or form, and there's no doubt one of the biggest challenges is just the change management.
Yes.
Right? Getting the organizations, building the trust around using it,
Yeah.
getting the employees, literate in AI,
Yeah.
but also deciding how, where and how and when are we going
Yes.
to deploy and use this.
Yeah.
So that sounds great. I'm sure a lot of people can really benefit from that.
Yeah.
If people want to learn more about any of these,
Yeah.
how do they get in touch with you? Where do they go? What websites?
Yeah, so depending on what they want to reach out to me
Yeah.
for. So Visdosity is visdosity.ai is still a brochure. They can fill up their form. Momrelaunch.org is another website. Again, the new company will come in. But the best thing is just reach out to me on LinkedIn or my email, reena.gupta@visdosity.ai. That is Wisdom City. Instead of M, it is city. So
Well, that's great.
Yeah,
I'm so
thank
glad
you.
we got a chance to meet here. I
Yeah.
hope you enjoy the rest of the conference.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
thank you very much for joining. Thank
Yeah.
you for listening.
Thank you for having me here.